obviously we've got All-Star Weekend coming up.
Yes, we do.
I can just run through these selections and see if there's
yes.
anything that triggers you. Obviously, the Western Conference starters are LeBron, the current NBA champ Nikola Jokic, arguably the best basketball player in the world right now, Kevin Durant, Luka Doncic, and SGA, my guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was my guy from way back. Deji's got the receipts. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yes.
He's top 3 in MVP, I think, when I saw the MVP ladder the other day.
I think he deserves it. I think he deserves it right now, the way he's been playing, the way OKC have been playing. Definitely.
Because I was second in the West, or the top 3 in the West keep on interchanging at the moment. So
it's that one win between them. So
I think the Wolves went back top the other day.
Good young teams.
And then the reserves for the Western Conference are Devin Booker, Steph Curry, AD, Anthony Edwards, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and Kat, our favourite. Carl Anthony Towns, our favourite clown in the NBA. Nah, not clown. Great player, but he's a funny man.
Yes.
And obviously, when we first discussed the starters, the reserves weren't announced.
Yeah.
And people were saying where Steph Curry got snubbed, and we briefly spoke about that and stuff. But I think they've got the West more or less right, and I've not really seen no backlash from, especially in the West, from starters and reserves, bar the Curry talk. But I was like, no.
Yeah, I don't think. Honestly, I was the Curry man to say he should be a starter. But honestly, it's an all-star game at the end of the day.
Yeah.
If you get selected, you get selected. And I feel like there's been no like mistakes.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
Yeah, there's been no mistakes. Whereas some years you find, hold on, he's not an all-star and he is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like this year we've kind of got it correct in terms of who's there. And
in the West, definitely. I think the East will have maybe one or two. But obviously, again, we spoke last week about the Clippers, their record and stuff. And I think it's deserved having Kawhi, definitely. Paul George playing at a very good level as well. James Harden could have potentially got there because, like he said, he is the system.
That's true.
Before he joined, and
now the look was expired.
So, we can move on to the East, where we've got Giannis, who's also captaining with LeBron. I think they were captains last year, weren't they?
Yeah, and the year before.
Yeah. Jason Tatum, he's Celtics' best record in the NBA. Joel Embiid, but he's out now due to injury.
Who's it? They already got the reserve.
They've got the reserve, but I'm not sure who the starter is. And the final 2 starters are Tyrese Halliburton and Damian Lillard. And this is Dame's first All-Star starter, I believe. Usually he's been a reserve.
He's been in the West. It's just like the NFL.
Yep. Conference, trust me.
It depends on what conference you're in, because obviously the West, he was never going to be in that guard position in the West.
Yeah.
Because Steph Curry was usually the main man.
Yeah.
And then once the upcoming guards came up, Luka, you got obviously.
Yeah.
You got SGA now coming into play. Clay was there at one point.
Luka's numbers were always so good from when he came into the league.
Yeah.
You couldn't deny him. Even if he had a funneling out to the end of the season, or fizzled out, I should say. That start or his numbers are just tremendous.
Yeah.
So,
that's
especially for something like this. So,
you know who won in the West? It might not Kyrie Irving.
But I feel like it's because he's missed games.
I understand the reason. I understand the reasoning behind it. It's just him as a player. You don't really want him not to be in that game.
For All-Star game, you want him there. Yeah, it's true actually. Didn't really think of Kyrie as much.
Yeah,
that would be his bag. And entertainment factor for everyone as well. But the Eastern Conference reserves, you've got Bam Adebayo, Paolo Banchero. On Paolo, last night was the first Magic game that's been televised since he's been in the NBA, and he's been in the NBA for a season and a half now.
Yeah, they've only started. Well,
that was his first televised game last night, and it was only because it was Shaq's jersey retirement.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, someone said in the comments on Twitter, I see they said Paolo should deliberately sit out as a FU to Adam Silver.
Yeah, it's true though. You can't have one televised game in a year and a half for what a team because of how bad they are.
And he was, when he came out the draft the season before, or the summer before I should say, wasn't he one of the higher draft picks?
Yeah, he was number 2, number 3.
Yeah, so for a man to not have a televised game all season.
Crazy. That's also what plays into All-Star votes, you know.
Yeah.
Because if people can't see you, and people are watching, if you don't have like NBA TV or you have like the NBA app where you can keep track of these things.
Yeah.
If you're not being seen, how are you meant to get an All-Star vote?
And then obviously in the States, just on the channels
Exactly.
itself. So yeah, no, that's very true.
So
But big up
mad.
Paolo then even more.
Yes.
That didn't even made me think. I was like, raw. Like when seeing his name, I was like, shit, you made a good point there.
Mm-hmm.
That he's not even seen, but he's been recognized.
Exactly.
Which is good.
So you know how good he's actually playing.
Exactly. Because the Magic started off really well this season.
Yep.
But yeah, finish off with the reserves in the East. Jaylen Brown, Jalen Brunson, who's had a lot of MVP.
Yeah.
Just shouts in arenas, etc.
Yeah.
I can't remember who the Knicks were away to the other day, and he was getting MVP shout. The Knicks basically filled out that arena. And I just remember seeing a small clip of it. Then he started to get booed because they were overpowering with the MVP. But Tyrese Maxey, Donovan Mitchell, and then Julius Randle. But he's also out due to injury. So then the replacements are Trae Young and Scotty Barnes. And obviously, I think we might have discussed the Raptors coach saying Scotty Barnes is the face of the league.
Yes,
a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we did. Do you know that? You know, Trae Young not being there from the start is ridiculous.
So that's the one that I said might have been controversial
because that man is criminally underrated.
But then I think at the time, or because the Hawks, they've only started to pick up real form the last couple of weeks.
I understand.
Their record weren't that great, but like I feel like Trae Young gets so much disrespect, man.
For the stuff he's done in this league,
bro,
it's he's taken his team further than Joel Embiid has ever taken his team.
Philly fans, say that again, please.
Trae Young has taken the Atlanta Hawks further than Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, James Harden have ever taken the Philadelphia 76ers.
That is correct.
This is
obviously Embiid's had health issues when it comes to the playoffs. Near enough most years or whatever. But if the year that he had Ben Simmons, when the Hawks beat them to get to the
That's the thing, and he was playing with underrated. He was the main man, but the team around him weren't the best.
And he's 5'11".
Yeah, he's so criminally underrated. It's madness.
I don't think it's underrated. I just think he's disrespected.
That's why I say he's underrated because if you don't rate a man that's taken his team, the Atlanta Hawks, to that level, when are you gonna rate him?
Yeah.
When he leaves Atlanta? Because I know Atlanta's not big for basketball like that. It's massive for the Falcons.
Yeah,
but at the same time, come on now.
Yeah.
He's one of the best guards in the NBA.
Bro, he's unreal. Like, he's always one of the high assist makers in the league. I think he led last season all round the final number of assists, not that average or whatever. He's ever present. Like, he might have the odd issue with one coach or here and there, but he shows up. Whether he's scoring at the level you want him to or being as efficient as you want him to.
Yeah.
Like, most of these long range shooters ain't crazy. They're not Steph.
They're not.
Do you know what I mean?
They're not going to be.
Yeah, they're not going to be. But like, he's always showing out.
Yep.
There's some nights he gets stupid hot. When the Warriors played the Hawks a couple of weeks ago, him and Steph were going back to back.
Yep.
And Steph went for, is it 60 that night?
62.
Yeah. They lost. And we were like, 62 is a bad number.
Yeah.
Or 60, just staying in that 60 range. Yeah. Obviously, we've had Kat and Devin Booker in 62 and lose, but Trae hit like high 30s or low 40s that night or whatever. I was like, bro, Trae Young, just too disrespected, bruv. That's Ash Trae, bruv.
Yeah.
He'll go to your arena and quiet you down. He ain't afraid of nobody.
Nope.
And the Hawks team's never that good.
No,
and he gets them to the playoffs.
Yeah, he's the mainstay that carries the team all the time. I know they got DeJounte Murray there now which is a nice addition. But it's Trae Young's team, and it's going to be Trae Young's team until it's not. And I feel like if he leaves Atlanta and goes to another market, then you really see what he can do. Because he's taken... I don't say not to come to the West. Don't come to the West.
Yeah.
Stay in the East.
Well, a team that he's been linked with is the Spurs. For him and Wemby to link
and that would be a great link up.
But it's just then the West, the powerhouse of the... Yeah. Obviously, for him, it'll become even harder in that aspect.
Right. And but if you want to win... It's not even if you want to win, but if you want to...
If you feel like that's your best chance to compete, then
you got to go
regardless of your opposition, fair enough. Because Wemby could be a generational monster.
Well, after the other night's performance, I'm going to say,
Mate, triple-double, including the blocks. Yeah. I think the last person I saw do that was Hassan Whiteside when he first started to come into the league.
At the Trailblazers.
Yeah. Oh, no, he done that with Was it the Trailblazers he done that with? I feel like saying Miami, but it might have been the Trailblazers. I remember watching the game, it might have been Miami, and he got a triple-double, and like he was just a blocking machine when he first came in. But like Wemby's upscale is nuts.
Yeah.
So if Trae Young's to join him at the Spurs, and we said they need a point guard,
that's all they need.
We said they needed a veteran, but if you're getting Trae Young now,
it's the perfect match. A man that will pass you the ball, he'll create space for you,
and you've got a big man big man to cover up for his deficiencies.
Exactly.
On the defensive end. So, but when I started to see those rumors or talks, and I've seen it a few times, I'm like, it'll kind of make sense, especially if the Spurs build like a good squad or just get a few more vets around their team and stuff like that. Got Trae Young leading your offense. He's high in assists. He'll be feeding Wemby, bro.
It'll be It's what Wemby needs, and I think it's what Trae Young. I'm not saying Trae Young needs to be out of that situation at Atlanta, but I feel like it would help him.
Yeah, definitely. So, or because it seems it's got to the point where the Hawks are not going to build a great squad.
Nah, they've maxed out on their potential.
Yeah, like it just like, all right, what are you going to do next? Like you said, DeJounte Murray's a very good player and stuff, but they need more.
Yeah, it doesn't put you over the edge. That's the thing, and there's only a few difference makers like that in the NBA that put you over the edge.
Exactly.
You need to go and find out. You either need to go and join them nowadays.
Yeah.
Or they need to come to you.
Yeah, convince them.
Yeah, so, and I say, look, the Spurs, it's probably harder to convince to convince you to go over there. You could probably convince someone to come to Atlanta just for the lifestyle.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you're trying to win, the Spurs is the...
In terms of like their organizational background,
the coach,
they know how to build, even though they've been poor for years. Like when they're good, they're really good.
They're on top.